can't believe I'm saying this, but Odell Beckham and Drewski have been Diddy-fied. Yes, an official complaint of assault and something else I cannot say on social media just came out. And in the plaintiff section, it lists Drewski, OBJ, and Diddy.
I'm back to boy by TTS and Ian. Today we're taking a look at these creepy TikTok videos. Welcome back, guys. Today's video is actually kind of crazy. These are the winners of last week's riddle. Congrats to you guys. You guys have been doing pretty good. Like at least 10 people get it every video, at least. So today's riddle is, what goes up and down but never moves? If you guys know, put it down in the comments. And as y'all know, if you get it right, you'll get a video shout out. I finally dropped my haunted vlog videos. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure to check that out after this video. I'm gonna tag it towards the end of the video, or just go down in the comment section and the video should be tagged. If you guys like this video, let's try to get over 2,000 likes this video. And as y'all know, these videos do get intense, so make sure to watch at your own risk and remember to subscribe.
The car veered off the road, crashing into a ditch, and witnesses called the police. They rushed to the scene expecting a recent accident, but in the dense bushes, they found something chilling. A car hidden for 5 months. Inside was the long dead body of a man who'd been missing since the summer. But multiple witnesses claimed they saw the crash as if it just happened. The mystery has never been solved and haunts locals to this day.
Okay, breaking news. In 2025, we now have boats colliding too. A major rescue operation is currently underway after an American oil tanker and a Portuguese cargo ship collided in the North Sea just off the coast of the UK. Now, reports and videos show that both vessels are currently on fire and that a number of people had abandoned the vessels in lifeboats. A British Coast Guard helicopter is being dispatched to the scene and efforts are underway to extinguish the fire, rescue the crew, and mitigate any environmental impact from the incident. Now, details about how this collision happened are still unclear, but what we do know is that the American oil tanker was anchored before being struck by the Portuguese cargo ship. We also know that this was just one of 10 oil tankers enlisted in a US government program, which is designed to supply armed forces with fuel during times of armed conflict or national emergency. Now, we don't know yet if there are any casualties, but of course, I'll keep you guys updated.
Boat-to-boat collision in 2025, that's actually crazy. I mean, he did say one was anchored down. That means one wasn't moving and then the other one is the one that hit it. You would think ships being that big, at least someone would have seen it coming, you know? Or maybe they did see it and just couldn't stop it.
A mother in Texas said her son was murdered and his body is being displayed at a bodies exhibit in Vegas, and stick with me because she has receipts. This is Christopher Todd Eric. He passed away in 2012 and his death was listed as a self-cancellation after police found traces of cyanide in his body. But his mother, Kim Eric Smith, said he would never do that, and she believes that he was murdered by his father and their step-family in Texas. She said she was told he was cremated, but it's obvious now that he never was, and his father donated his body to be put on display in Vegas to cover up what he did. And when you look at her son and one of the bodies on display, the resemblance is uncanny. And she has so much evidence on her Facebook, including what she believes is restraint marks going across his body from pictures shown in his autopsy, including the fact that his stepmother was also on a government watch list, and the fact that the receipt for the cyanide ordered to his apartment was actually forged. She believes experiments were done on her son and other people in exchange for things like money. And in her son's case, he received a 27-month lease to an apartment in exchange for his participation, but after signing the documents, he didn't know what he was getting into. Rest in peace to Christopher, and please help me spread the news so that him and his mother get the justice they deserve.
That picture they showed definitely kind of looked like him. Am I bugging? Like, what do you think? Like, I feel like it resembles him a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
You won't believe these jobs actually exist. Naming movies at Pixar. For this job, all you have to do is name Pixar's new movies and you can get paid up to $700,000 to do this. And apparently a woman that had this job got a $300,000 bonus for naming the movie Cars. Professional sleepers get paid up to $100,000 a year just to sleep. They do this for scientists to analyze their sleeping patterns or to test mattresses for hotels. An underwater hotel in the Florida Keys has an underwater pizza delivery man whose job is to deliver pizza to the hotel guests 21 feet below sea level. People completing surveys from their phones are now earning hundreds if not thousands a month.
There's some crazy things happening in the world right now. 5 guys were arrested for fighting at Five Guys. Amazon delivered a package to Mandy Moore's burned down house after the wildfires in LA. KFC is moving their headquarters from Kentucky to Texas. The son of a billionaire billionaire rented out Asia's biggest nightclub with a DJ so that he could deal with his breakup. The company Igloo is recalling over 1 million coolers because a faulty handle has been amputating fingertips. A woman gave a psychic $50,000 to help her fall in love, and now she wants a refund. An opossum was hospitalized after eating an entire Costco cake. I get it. A Minnesota man tried to put out a Boy Scout cabin fire with beer. Now he's being charged with arson. Kid Rock walked off stage mid-show in Nashville because the crowd wouldn't clap. Please clap. A man was swallowed by a whale and lived. A tourist lost both hands after a shark bit them off while she was trying to take a selfie. A daycare worker put a 4-year-old in a trash can because he refused to take a nap. Changes in Earth's magnetic field are triggering sea turtles to dance. Police found $50,000 worth of stolen Pokemon cards in an Australian home. A dad was charged with assault for shoving 2 child referees at a hockey game. And that's it.
Here are some facts that could one day save your life. If you ever see this tiny white spot on your bananas, watch out. This means there's a spider infestation, so make sure you throw those bananas out right away. And if you're ever out in the wilderness and have nothing to eat, dandelions are actually fully edible. If you ever take a picture with flash on and you notice a white dot on your pupil, you need to head to the doctor immediately because this could be a sign of disease. And if your drink ever smells like cinnamon, do not drink it. People actually use that as a tactic to cover up the smell of poison.
Whatever you do, do not look into her eyes.
Just a little bit ironic how he told us not to look into her eyes and then left her face up for like 30 seconds.
Most evil kids ever, part 1. At only 8 years old, Armajit Sada is the youngest known serial killer in the entire world. The young Indian boy was accused of murdering 3 babies.
Ways you can survive SCP-096 or the Shy Guy. The Shy Guy is a malicious humanoid entity currently being contained by the mysterious SCP Foundation in an undisclosed location somewhere around the globe. The first rule you'll want to follow if you want to avoid an encounter with this entity is to never look it directly in its face or at a photograph of its face, as this will immediately cause it to start hunting you down no matter where you are with the intention of ending your life, and it won't stop until the job is done. If, for some reason, you can't avoid looking SCP-096 in its face, the second rule will come into play. Run. Run very fast, and don't stop running. Ever. There are virtually 0 weapons that can damage this creature, so your best option is to buy yourself some time while the SCP Foundation works on a solution to containing it. Finally, you'll want to look for isolated and hard to reach places to hide in. This includes airplanes, islands, etc. Basically anything that will put a large amount of distance between you and the Shy Guy. Tag a friend if you're watching this alone, and follow for more.
I mean, I love how he says, you don't want to look at his face. If you look at his face, it might come and haunt you down. But then shows a fat picture of his face. I'm like, dude, thanks for the warning, man.
Warning signs you should never ignore. If you heard this ringing noise in your ear, that is a sign that you are lacking vitamin B12. If you're always thirsty and feel like you can't drink enough water, you may want to get checked for diabetes. It could be nothing but low insulin causing you to pee more, which then causes you to drink more water. If your hair is starting to get thin, this could be a sign your body not producing enough hemoglobin, so you should need to eat more foods that are rich in iron. If you're getting random bruises and you have no clue where they came from, this is a sign that you have an iron deficiency. So try to eat more foods with vitamin K and zinc-enriched foods. If a person always feels cold all the time, even in hot weather, that means the person has a thyroid problem and may need to see a doctor.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 17. This is YouTuber Sarah Funk, who was vlogging her trip to Cyprus's Red Lake. The suitcase in the water was actually discovered to contain the body of a 12-year-old girl who was murdered by a serial killer. At $1.5 million, this is one of the most valuable violins in the world. The initials WH stand for Wallace Hartley, who was the lead violinist aboard the Titanic. This was the instrument he played the night the ship sank before Wallace himself died. This is Jimmy Savile, a famous DJ who was even knighted by the Queen of England. However, he was a pedophile who raped over 300 children at the hospitals he ran, and he even raped their dead bodies. A couple was staying at an underwater cabin at the Manta Resort. This photo shows Steven proposing to his girlfriend through the cabin window. She said yes, but when she waited for her fiance to return, he never made it out of the water and drowned.
We need to talk about pedophile symbols in children's movies and books for a second. So these are symbols that the FBI in the past has claimed that pedophiles use to communicate with each other. This is a known thing, and there are actually people who belong to these groups who have come out and stated that yes, these groups do align with these symbols. So take a good look, especially up here to the left. So these are some screenshots from the children's film Alina of Avalor. Do you notice any symbols right here on one of the characters? Well, some of the other symbols from that sheet are found on another one of the characters in the film. Then there's the movie The Mighty Ducks, where one of the characters' helmets not only has one of those symbols, it actually has both of them. Same character, same helmet. I mean, that's pretty strange, right? There's also the film The Flight of the Navigator, where you can clearly see this same symbol being used again and again throughout the film. And these same symbols can also be found on diapers, you can see them clearly right there, on CDs that are clearly produced for and marketed towards children, interactive books made for children like these, and they can even be observed as far back as in Pinocchio. So, what do you think? Is this all just one big coincidence? Are these commonly used symbols? Or are these symbols seen in children's films and media for a reason? I don't know, maybe it was an animator that had certain proclivities themselves that wanted to brag to people that would recognize this, that they had gotten away with getting a job working near children. Or maybe it's all just a coincidence.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the reason of even putting it in the kids' shows in the first place, if you know what I'm trying to say. It's like, are you just trying to show the world? Like, let's say someone actually knows the symbol, because I would have never known. Or is it just to be like, hey guys, look at me, like I made this show and I love boys. Like, what?
This is the reason why you should never travel late night in the southern part of the United States. A group of bikers were going through these mountains when they were able to spot this creature. The creature was going side by side, alerting the bikers not to get any closer. Many people have claimed seeing skinwalkers through this little trail before, but the bikers decided to take this path anyways. Skinwalkers are extremely popular in the Navajo culture, and they can transform into different things like owls, wolves, and different creatures to travel late night. What a terrifying situation for these bikers.
So you probably have questions. I may have answers. Anyway, this is the Bodo, aka the Amazon River Dolphin, aka a sentient hot dog that got left in a microwave of life too long. A flipper paralysis demon if I've ever seen one. See, now what had happened was, scientists studied these river pigs for over 200 hours, and there were 36 separate times where one decided to become a sentient sprinkler for apparently no reason. Questionable use of free will, and scientists hit a mental roadblock trying to figure out the why. Here's my guess. Fun fact, dolphins can recognize each other by using their version of names. It's pretty cool. They can also recognize each other by tasting urine, so they got that two-factor authentication going. That's not a joke. Scientists watch dolphins carefully listen to the sounds of whistles and consolidate that by sampling their south shower before giving them the how the heck are ya. Another thing is that nature's forgotten bubblegum isn't blind, but with the murky river water they live in, they might as well be, so senses like smell and taste carry the team. And the last thing is that male dolphins form lifelong alliances where they help each other get laid, and being on our smelly timing is how they prove their identity. It's not really that crazy. Animals like lions spray to mark their territory, giraffes will taste bladder product to see if a female's ready, and porcupines will really gift a golden shower to let the lady know he's on timing. So that's my guess. Or they could just be playing, cause the way those males in alliances bond is something I can't talk about on here. Not so shameless plug, but nah, for real, Goblins is probably already gonna spank me for showing that video, so if you're curious and you wanna know what I'm talking about, there you go. The more you know.
Seemingly normal photos with disturbing backstories?
Part 1. This photo shows Apollo 1 astronauts praying as a joke, and not a single one of them returned back to Earth. This is a photo of a man smiling in the trenches during the war, but he wasn't smiling because he was happy. He was smiling due to shell shock and borderline insanity. This just looks like 3 girls taking a selfie, but the light in the background is actually a train which hits and ends all their lives just seconds later.
3 facts that could save your life. Part 6. If you ever find yourself stranded on a beach somewhere, try and stay as dry and warm as possible, gathering supplies before it gets dark to, of course, make a fire. People don't realize that as soon as the sun goes down, it gets extremely cold on those waterfronts, and you can more or less die of hypothermia actually pretty quickly. If you ever find yourself hiking and needing of water, don't ever eat the snow. Eating the extremely cold snow while being extremely cold can actually give your body internal hypothermia, unaliving you actually pretty fast. If you're ever walking to your car and it's extremely dark outside, make sure you have your keys in your hand. If an intruder or someone comes near you to bother you, you can sound the alarm of your car, more or less scaring them off or getting at least somebody else's attention. Like and follow for more.
For the first time ever, a wild animal has been observed using a medicinal plant to treat a wound. So scientists just observed an orangutan in the wild doing something no other wild animal has ever been seen doing. You see, apparently this orangutan got into a little scuffle, and this scuffle caused the orangutan to get a wound below its eye. After getting this wound, scientists observed the orangutan chewing up a plant that is not normally part of its diet, and after chewing this plant, the orangutan would take the chewed paste and apply it to its wound below its eye. Now, the orangutan doing this was no random coincidence, because as it turns out, the plant that it was chewing did indeed have medicinal values. Now, because the orangutan decided to use this plant to treat its wound, the wound closed up after about a month, and the orangutan never got any kind of infection from the wound. Now that this has been observed in the wild, scientists are trying to figure something else out. They're trying to figure out if all orangutans know about these healing plants and are taught about the plants from other orangutans as they grow up, or if this is just some sort of animal instinct that the orangutans just automatically know when they're born.
Here are some facts that'll definitely save your life. If you ever live alone and you hear footsteps upstairs your house while you're downstairs, they already know you're there. Most house intruders aren't random. They've already been watching you. If you ever hear movements upstairs while you're alone, their plan is already in motion. Leave your house as fast as you can and as quietly as you can, and only confront when trapped. If a stranger asks you, "Do you live alone?" always lie. Always reply to that question with, "Oh, I live with parents," or "My roommate's home," or "My boyfriend's coming home soon." This can immediately dissuade predators targeting solo victims. If you ever find a door ajar in your home and you didn't leave it that way, back away immediately. Intruders sometimes leave doors open, no matter how slightly they are, as a trap. Walking into that room, especially if that room has no form of escape like windows, makes you extremely vulnerable. Leave immediately and call the police, even if this means finding out there's no intruder in the process. And finally, if you're ever being chased, never run in a straight line. Run in a zigzag or any other pattern. Zigzagging can make it harder for a pursuer to predict their path, especially if they're armed or driving. As you continue running that way, always try to run in crowds or areas with light or noise. Stay safe.
Creepiest home camera footage. In 2017, a mother in Billings, Montana woke up in the middle of the night to a notification on her phone. Her phone was synced to a baby monitor she had set up in her infant daughter's room. On this night, upon being alerted, she opened the app expecting to see her daughter awake in the crib. But instead she saw this. A man she didn't know is seen crouched down in the room. She saw this and ran to the room to retrieve her daughter and run out the house. She didn't see anyone in the room but wasn't exactly looking. When she called the cops, they arrived and conducted a search of the home but didn't find anything. A very odd detail is that it was found that nothing but the remote to a dog shock collar was stolen from the house. Who this man is and how he got in the house is still unknown.
On March 5th, 1974, 17-year-old Amy Billig vanished while hitchhiking to her dad's office in Coconut Grove, Florida. A few days later, 16-year-old twins who lived in the neighborhood claimed they kidnapped Amy and wanted $30,000, but police discovered this was a hoax and the case went cold. But Amy's mom, Susan, never gave up. She traveled the country chasing down leads. However, soon she started receiving harassing phone calls from a man claiming to have Amy. This went on for 21 years until one day the caller accidentally used his cell phone instead of a payphone, allowing it to be traced back to Henry Blair, a man who had become obsessed with the case but had no connection to Amy, so her disappearance remains unsolved.
A convenience store in Japan was getting robbed so often that the owner came up with a genius plan to stop thieves using only these orange balls. See, the convenience store was in the busy city of Yokohama, which gave thieves a huge advantage, because all they had to do was quickly grab what they wanted to steal, then run out to the street where they quickly blended in. To make matters worse, most of them just had a getaway car ready to go, which made it nearly impossible for police to identify them when they drove off. But instead of trying to lock everything in the store behind bars, this store owner simply placed a basket of what seemed like harmless rubber balls near the cash register. Soon, a thief grabbed some items before running out to his getaway car, but before he could drive away, the store owner threw one of the orange balls at the car. The moment it made contact, it split open, launching neon orange paint all over the car. He then called police, who easily tracked down the car before arresting the thieves. Since then, these orange balls have become a very popular anti-theft tools found in thousands of stores across Japan. Employees even undergo specialized training to throw the balls more accurately at thieves so police could track them down.
That's a good idea, but like, what if they don't have a getaway car that day? What if bro decided to just run out without a car? Then what?
This man built a memorial to Adolf Hitler in Wisconsin. And yes, he was a real ex-Yahtzee soldier. So this is Theodore Junker outside of his memorial, holding a photograph of himself when he was enlisted in the SS. You see, Theodore after World War II had come over to America. And when he got over to America, he decided that America had gotten it all wrong. Just take a look right here at one of the signs inside of his shrine. Adolf did not start World War II. Not one person was gassed to death. He respected all races. Oh, and he protected Paris. This museum that he had set up was a whole shrine, and he was incredibly proud of it. There was tons of controversy in this small town in Wisconsin, and they said he couldn't open it up, but he did anyways. And the whole thing was giving praise to the Yahtzees and their leader. And the whole thing, you can still Google pictures of it, was incredibly bizarre and disturbing. Now, eventually Theodore would die in the year 2013, and shortly afterwards his property went abandoned. And for years, this entire thing sat out in the woods in Wisconsin deteriorating. A very creepy reminder of a very disturbing past. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You have to pause to read some of these plaques. Now, the site was demolished in 2023, but the pictures will live on forever. And I just could not believe this story. I was actually in Wisconsin and someone told me about the abandoned Yahtzee museum in the woods, and I didn't believe them until I Googled it and figured out that it is very real.
So this TikToker, let's call her Spirit. One day, she's in bed and she starts seeing these creatures, and they start talking to her. Now, Spirit is 14 years old, she's a good kid, she goes to private school, she's class president, and she also makes a lot of TikToks. Mostly just dancing and lip-syncing videos. Spirit also has an older sister. Let's just call her Angel. Angel's 19, and she has cerebral palsy, and she uses a wheelchair. And when Spirit and Angel hang out, Spirit sings her songs and reads to her. They seem to be happy. But over time, Spirit's TikToks start to change. They get a little darker, kind of an emo vibe, because she's being bullied at school. She's becoming depressed. She also thinks she might be trans, but it isn't clear. And so Spirit retreats more and more into the horror movies she likes, and she starts to have dark, intrusive thoughts. And one day, Spirit has a normal day. She goes to school, she gets home, she posts a TikTok, and bedtime comes and she goes to bed and everyone in the house is asleep. And that is when she's approached by these creatures. And I don't know what to call them, so we'll just call them demons. And these demons, they start speaking to her. Now, Spirit doesn't like this. It scares her. She doesn't know what to do. Then the demons start bullying her. They're making fun of the way she looks, they're taunting her for maybe being trans, and they allegedly start telling her to hurt herself. So Spirit gets out of bed and she sneaks through the dark and she goes downstairs. She goes to the kitchen and grabs a large kitchen knife, and the demons keep taunting her. So finally, Spirit does the only thing she can think of. She turns the knife on one of the demons and she stabs it, hoping it'll go away. And she does this over and over again. And eventually she stops and she looks down and realizes she wasn't stabbing a demon. She had been stabbing her sister, Angel. So Spirit calls 911. Then she goes out into the front yard and waits for the police. Police get there and she straight up admits it. I unalived my sister. So they arrest her and it's a huge deal, and all her TikTok followers are like, what the f***? And eventually, all of this goes to trial. And at the trial, Spirit's attorney argues a version of the story I just told you. That Spirit killed Angel because Spirit was depressed, experiencing hallucinations, which I represented with pictures of demons, but who knows what the hell she was seeing. Now, the prosecuting attorney, on the other hand, they argue that's bullshit. That this wasn't because of hallucinations, and that Spirit was obsessed with homicide, and that she would often talk to her friends about unaliving people, and that she shows no remorse in killing her sister. And allegedly, when Spirit was in police custody, an officer's phone rings, and his ringtone is the theme to Halloween, and Spirit jokes, "I just Michael Myers to my sister." And then another time while in police custody, police gave her McDonald's, and she said, "I would have killed someone sooner if I knew I was getting McDonald's." And so the prosecuting attorneys use all of these things against Spirit in court. However, both prosecution and defense agree that Spirit is mentally unwell. So Spirit is tried as an adult, and eventually she pleads guilty to third-degree murder, and here's her mugshot, and she's in prison now, serving 12 to 40 years. And to this day, we still don't exactly have a clear understanding of why she did it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Odell Beckham and Drewski have been Diddy-fied. Yes, an official complaint of assault and something else I cannot say on social media just came out. And in the plaintiff section, it lists Drewski, OBJ, and Diddy. And obviously we want to hear both sides of the story, but they are being accused of some insane things. I'll let you read this part on your own, but apparently Drewski was treating people like slip and slides and knocking them out due to his enormous size. What has 2025 come to? And again, we have to hear both sides of the story, but OBJ and Drewski have already been linked together in multiple pictures. Sure, we've all seen the skit that Drewski did at Diddy's house, and you know, we didn't think very much when it happened, and it is totally backfired on his career, I guess, now. So obviously we have to hear both sides of the story, but OBJ and Drewski may be in a lot of trouble.
That's crazy, because I woke up this morning and I saw that. I was like, Odell and Drewski. If anyone doesn't know Drewski, he's a really funny guy. He's like a social media influencer comedian type of guy. He's hilarious, funny. Like, his shows are hilarious. Like, I love him. This is what he looks like. Like, he's a pretty big dude. So when he was saying he was slipping, sliding inside and out of people, I was like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, dude. I don't know. A lot of crazy things went on at that Diddy party. So hopefully his name get cleared. But Odell, it's like, I don't know. Odell has been caught up in a lot of weird things in the past. So, and there's that video of him and Justin Bieber and Trey Young's inside Diddy's house. So yeah, who knows, bro? Who knows what happened inside that mansion? But as I've told you guys, I dropped my haunted vlog. So if you guys want to see it, make sure to click the video that should probably pop up in a second. It's amazing, bro. You'd probably love it. So just check it out. You know, let me know what you think and leave a comment and like it if you like it.
Thank you all for watching.